Good morning, and welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. Quien quiera que sea, quien quiera que ame, donde sea que usted esté en su vida, están bienvenidos aquí. If you are new to SMUUCh and want to know more about our church, please fill out our Get in Touch form using the link in our video description. Or if you are interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism, please join us immediately after the service for the Just the Basics class. You can click on the link in the video description. For all of you joining us live this morning, feel free to start posting your joys and sorrows now if you would like the names to be read aloud during the candle lighting. And now a few announcements from our minister.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Rose, the minister here at SMUUCh. It is a joy to see you and an honor to be broadcast into your homes. Today, I want to remind you again that COVID cases are on the rise, and so to please continue to be very careful with yourselves and your loved ones. I have entitled our service today, The Not Yet, both because it is in the spirit of the season, but also to inspire in us a willingness to stick to our course in regards to safety. Even though this pandemic has taken a toll on our families, communities, and selves. We must stay separate now so that when we do gather, no one is missing. And now just an announcement to please join us for our Christmas Eve service for the first time broadcast virtually. And we invite you to bring your families and friends who may be afar. Please be sure to have a candle ready and a spark so that we can keep our rituals bright. And speaking of rituals, happy Hanukkah. I hope that you are keeping your lamps trimmed and burning and enjoying the beautiful celebration that is the miracle of people coming together for the cause of justice, community, and freedom. Because together we are better, together we are a courageous church, a courageous country, a courageous globe. Come, let us worship. Please join us for our opening hymn, number 244, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
That glorious song of old.
you need is a candle, a spark, and some sort of special chalice. And some parental supervision.
Please join me as we light our chalice and affirm that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. And now please enjoy this time for all ages.
Hi, Celie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see your face.
It's nice to see your face, too.
So I thought we could start today off with a fun cheer before you and I start talking about the winter and the holidays.
A cheer? Okay.
You're so ready.
Give me a P. P. Give me an R. R. Give me an E. E. Give me an S. S. Give me an E. E. Give me an N. N. Give me a T. T. Give me an S. S. What's that spell?
M-P-R-E. Presents! Can I show you a present?
Yes, please. Ooh, what's that you got?
This is a present that's under the tree for me.
Do you know who it's from?
Yeah, it's from Reverend Rose.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, that's perfect. I thought since you're showing us your present and you all celebrate Christmas together, I wanted to chat about what's Christmas all about. What do you think it's all about?
Presents?
I get that. I think a lot of people think that. I do like presents, but I think because we're UU, it's not just about presents.
This is my first Christmas, but what I've heard is that we're gonna open up presents and we're gonna go to church.
That's a great thing that people think we do is we just, celebrate Christmas and we have presents. But actually, Celie, I just like being present.
Oh, is that what they meant? They meant being present?
It's about presence, Presence, as opposed to present.
I think I misunderstood. It's okay that I like the presents, but what we're really doing is being present. Sometimes when I think about my favorite times with my family, it's when we're not really doing anything, when we're just kind of relaxing together. Is that what presence is?
Presence is about being with other people. So when you're sweeping the ocean floor, you're thinking and being with Grandma Octo. And it's really about enjoying the moment. Lots of UUs actually celebrate Hanukkah or winter solstice or Kwanzaa. But even those who do celebrate Christmas, we can still appreciate the beauty of being together, even if we don't share all the traditional beliefs, Because actually, in the beginning, Romans called Christmas the birthday of the unconquered sun. And it was a 12-day festival that marked the ending of one year and the beginning of another. And all the halls of all the houses were decked with boughs of laurel and evergreen trees.
Wow.
Hanukkah is actually the festival of lights. So that's super connected to what we just talked about, the 12-day festival, which had to do with the sun. And that's why I love all these religions, because they all have something to do with light and sun. And as you use, we really cherish that, as our chalice, a lit chalice, is a symbol of our religion. And so Hanukkah is actually an 8-day celebration falling anywhere from late November to December. This year, 2020, it starts December 10th. And it remembers a time when Jewish religion was illegal.
Wow.
And then the people went to Jerusalem to free the Holy Temple. They had ceremonies to dedicate this temple and to purify it, which actually took 8 nights.
Oh.
People who celebrate Hanukkah, Jewish people, have a menorah, which has 8 candles that they light every night. And Kwanzaa actually has 7. And it kind of looks like what a menorah looks like. So I just think that's really neat. Kwanzaa is actually Swahili for first fruits. And similar to Hanukkah, it's for all people of African descent to reaffirm African culture and values. It's celebrated for 7 days from December 26th through January 1st. Now, I think it's so cool they have 7 principles, because that's just like you, is it not?
Yeah. So I have something to say.
Yes.
Oh, I thought this was all about getting presents, but it turns out that it's a lot more. It's a lot about being free and being who you want to be in the world with the people you love.
We share a lot of commonalities where we want to care and love for each other and have community and connection.
Oh.
Oh, Celie, thank you. Thank you for that kiss.
Yeah. I miss everybody. Here's my kiss to everybody. Mwah.
That's so sweet. I know they all miss you too. Well, thank you so much for letting me talk about these different religious practices and celebrations during this time. And I would love to hear any that other people have in the chat, or things that they do that we didn't bring up, like Yule or winter solstice, things like that.
Okay, thanks, Miss Patrice. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So grateful and excited to have new members in our church. Please enjoy this video as our welcome to you.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome, y'all. Welcome.
We are so grateful for this chance to welcome new members into our church. Our first new members are Jim and Carolee Johnson. Jim is a retired U.S. Postal Service worker, and Carolee an elementary school teacher at Spring Hill. They have 2 sons with families, both living in Shawnee with 5 grandchildren. And we welcome Cynthia Cole, who lives in Edwardsville with her 2 cats. She works in clinical research, loves to travel, and is coming to us from the Gaia community. And lastly, we have Andrea and Josh Witherall. They moved to Kansas 5 years ago. They love to be outside, are new to UU, and love to spend time with their dog, drinking craft beer, and doing home improvement projects. This is the time where we expand the caring love of our community, where we draw to heart and mind those in our midst who are struggling and those who feel the sweet relief of their burdens easing. Today we keep in our hearts all who are patiently waiting in the tensions which surround us today. And we ask for a certain spaciousness to come into our waiting. We think of everyone who is wondering whether or not they can live well in the coming months. And we share in this curious journey that is vulnerability, compassion, and embodiment, all 3 of which will surely support us in getting through these coming months holistically well. We give our love to those untangling themselves from relationships which no longer serve them. We grieve for the loss of energy and time that chronic illness takes on the body and mind, and our hearts go out to all who are struggling to make ends meet, especially at this time of year, especially this year. We extend our gratitude to those who make caring for children their primary spiritual practice, and we join in wonder with all who are bravely facing their final days. And as always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty might be. And now please comment in the comment section of the live chat your joy or sorrow. Remember, this moment of sharing happens online and remains public for all viewers joining us today. And to join us further together in the beloved community, we will read out loud the names of those who posted joys and sorrows while I light the candles.
A joy from Miss Patrice of seeing fresh new faces at church as our worship associate. From Jennifer, gratitude for her employer's commitment to mental health. A candle of thankfulness and love for Jerry Hollenbeek in appreciation for his kindness, joy, and love that he pours into our beloved community. A joy for all the new members that have come into our beloved community. We're glad to have you with us. A joy for DACA, which is back. And for all the remaining candles we will light for those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts.
Please join me in a spirit of meditation, closing your eyes, opening your heart. Today I ask for patience, for a slow and easy pace which will bring rest and care to all souls, that we might press the pause button and think again about the quality of our time, our embodiment, our relationships, the gifts we are giving, the care we give to ourselves, and our very presence. I ask that we allow the soft lull of the not yet to carry us and hold us, this very moment in which we are suspended, becoming sacred again. I ask that we grow in our compassion practice, grow in our heart, that we think kind thoughts before hateful ones, generous thoughts before miserly ones, that we seek to understand before judging, that we become more loving and from this more peaceful. Blessed be, and amen. And now please continue in your peaceful reverie as we sing our reflective hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. You know how I like to take biblical stories that you know and reveal a new meaning to them? Well, our text today is not that, because I had never heard this text before a colleague brought it to me. She, my colleague, is a Lutheran pastor whom I met in seminary and with whom I have historically loved to talk sermons, theology, texts, and other nerdy minister things. But right now she works in a seminary and thus does not get to preach very much. And I've really missed getting to hear her thoughts. However, recently she was asked to preach at chapel at her school, and as Lutherans, they have to follow a liturgical calendar, which means they have to preach on whatever text they are given. What a puzzle. So she came to me with a question, because the text that she was assigned for her day is peculiar, and it took us some time to get to the meaning, but I think it's quite pertinent. And so here is Matthew 25, 1 through 13.
Matthew 25, 1 through 13. The kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, "Look, here's the bridegroom. Come out to meet him." Then all those bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise replied, "No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You had better go to the dealers and buy some for yourselves." And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the other bridesmaids came also, saying, "Open the door to us." But he replied, "Truly, I tell you, I do not know you. Keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour."
Waiting and uncertainty are a part of our lives. We are waiting right now. We are waiting for this pandemic to be over. We are waiting for a vaccine. We are waiting for an end to what feels like an interminable new way of life, of shelter in place, marked by isolation and fear. We are waiting to move from being in a bright red state to an orange state to a yellow state, which means the cases are going down. We are waiting for our country to wake from its white supremacist, environmentally destructive fever dream. We are waiting. Everything feels so uncertain when we wait. And though we don't really like to talk about it, we are also waiting for our own selves to become whom we dream of. We are waiting for relief from pain, for whatever conflict to end, or waiting for a spiritual awakening. We are waiting for all souls to grow into harmony with the divine. And we affirm this fact whenever we say together our doxology, whenever we come together to worship. In today's reading, in what seems to me a strange and slightly off-putting parable, we address this theme of waiting. There are 10 bridesmaids with their lamps waiting for the groom. the groom is late and all 10 bridesmaids fall asleep. When he does finally arrive, they get ready to trim the wicks on their oil lamps, but it turns out that 5 brought along extra oil. These are called the wise ones. And the other 5 did not. These ones are called the foolish ones. Because the groom was late, the lamps start to go out, and the 5 foolish bridesmaids ask their wise peers to share their oil, but they are refused. The 5 foolish bridesmaids then go to buy more oil, and while they are gone engaging in commerce, the groom comes, lets the wise bridesmaids into the party, and shuts the door. The 5 foolish maids end up missing the wedding altogether. Having told this curious story to illustrate what heaven will be like, Jesus instructs his listeners to, quote unquote, keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Waiting. Now, let me say that there is a lot in this parable that I find peculiar and seemingly at odds with what I understand the larger message of the Christian scriptures to be. For example, the ones who refuse to share their resources with the unprepared peers are called wise, and they get to go into the banquet. On its surface, this hardly seems to square with the declarations that the last shall be first and the first last, or the vision of the wedding banquet from just 3 chapters earlier in Matthew 22, where the king invites people from the street to come in to feast. But as I turned this confusing parable over in my mind again and again, I kept coming back to one particular moment in the story. The moment the 5 foolish bridesmaids leave the scene to go buy more oil. They know the bridegroom is on his way. They've been awakened by the shout of, "The groom is coming," and yet they leave. When their peers won't share their oil, the 5 bridesmaids book it to buy more oil from the oil dealers. They can't fathom showing up without their lamps lit. And I just kept wondering, what would have happened if they had stayed? What would it have meant for them to show up to the wedding without enough oil in their lamps? What if they had waited? Because perhaps their mistake was not so much that they didn't bring extra oil, but that they left in the middle of waiting to go buy something. After all, at the end of this parable, Jesus of Nazareth doesn't say, therefore, bring extra oil. But what he does say is, keep awake, for you know not the day or the hour. Perhaps this parable is not so much a call to be prepared, but a call to stay present and watchful in the midst of uncertainty. It's about the difficult practice of waiting, even when we are not prepared, even when there is uncertainty. Because what does it mean to keep awake or stay woke in times of uncertain and uncomfortable waiting? Perhaps it means staying present in community, even when it's dark and we don't have access to even our own light. Perhaps it means sitting in the messiness and not disengaging. Maybe it means digging into those spiritual practices with the help of others. Perhaps it means letting go of that ego that wants to be perfect with the nice trimmed wick on your perfect burning lamp, and instead just showing up as we are to do the hard work of loving one another and ourselves during a difficult time. Now, I have often thought recently about the ways that people the world over have gotten through difficult times. And I think that the wisdom of peoples who have had to wait can help us now as we wait for our world to become. And when I think of waiting in darkness, I think of the people who've lived patiently through times longer than I can fathom. I am thinking specifically today about the Latino community, especially as we enter into this season of talking about the immigrant and the refugee and the foreigner. I think that we can lift up the waiting that the communities of Central and South America have endured and look to these moments for inspiration and insight. There is one story about people who kept awake that I want to tell you, a story of people who remained present when it would have been much easier, but to their own detriment, to disengage. This is a story of the people of Chile, who lived for 17 years under a brutal military dictatorship. Many people whom I've known from Central or South America have shared vivid and terrifying stories of years living under repression and violence. And near Santiago, there was a place called Villa Grimaldi, a former detention center, and it was there that the military held and tortured political prisoners. One woman named Leila was a survivor of torture from there, and she has since turned to giving tours of the site itself, which today has been converted into a park for peace, something that the community fought for mightily. On these tours, Leila tells many things about her experience there. She was only 18 when they arrested her at night and brought her to this place. Active in a leftist political party and opposing the military regime, she was a target of these secret police. They blindfolded her, handcuffed her, and put a gun to her head. She lived more than 2 months at Villa Grimaldi, suffering unthinkably at the hands of other human beings. There were moments where she almost died. Imprisoned for months and in some cases years, Leila and her fellow prisoners waited. They often waited in literal darkness, confined to small cells with little room to move and no light. They waited for the next soldier to move them to the next chamber. They waited for their fellow prisoner to return to the cell next to them. They waited for food and water, and of course, they awaited rescue. With no contact with the world outside of Villa Grimaldi, they lost track of days or weeks. They knew not the day nor the hour. Leila explains on her tours how experiences there made her cross a line inside of herself. Their methods made her question everything she believed. There were times where she felt she had lost herself completely. Waiting was excruciating. And these are not the first people who've had to wait in the not yet. But how did she survive? Well, in the waiting, they built a community. Leila tells that the only reason that she is living today was because the other prisoners at Villa Grimaldi taught her how to live in the waiting. They reminded her of her identity and her humanity. They loved her back to life in that darkness. Under such inhumane conditions, the prisoners at Villa Grimaldi constructed a community that did maintain their lives. They shared important information with new detainees. They created strategies to communicate in the midst of this interminable suffering. They took turns being awake and keeping watch in their cells, and they helped each other to remember. For example, when a prisoner wanted to pray the Lord's Prayer but couldn't remember the lines, all the prisoners in her cell got together to remember the words and pray together. They even invented a new version when they couldn't remember the original words. Or when another felt the need to sing a hymn, they all sang, slowly remembering the refrain together. And this is literally how they survived. Layla and her fellow prisoners did not know how long they would have to wait for freedom, or if it would even come. And even in the conditions where the goal of their captors was isolation, they showed up for one another. They bore each other's burdens. They sang, they communicated, they looked out for one another. They knew that waiting passively or disengaging was not an option, so they lived in active love for one another. And isn't that what keeps us alive? Showing up for each other, accompanying one another in the waiting. Our life as Unitarian Universalists is, in a sense, marked by this constant waiting. We live in the not yet space between the world as it is and the world we dream of. We live in the not yet times before the world has turned towards the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We live in the not yet of the waiting for the world to wake up to the interconnected web of all life. And if we recognize this, we know that we cannot simply wait passively, but that we are called to that active life in the waiting. Yes, we wait for the world to blossom into justice. Yes, we serve our neighbor in the meantime. Yes, we wait anxiously for a vaccine and for the day where we might share hugs and greetings here together. And yes, we live and worship and bear one another's burdens in the meantime. Yes, we wait for peace, and yes, we continue to work for justice and declare the dignity and worth of Black lives in the meantime. Waiting and living in the waiting is our life. But as we well know, it isn't always easy. Perhaps you know the African American spiritual, "Keep your lamps trimmed and burning," which references today's biblical text. The first verse goes, "Keep your lamps trimmed and burning, for the time is drawing nigh." The refrain says, "Children, don't grow weary, because waiting is exhausting." It even goes on to say, "Darker midnight lies before us." But the good news is that we are freed to live for each other in the meantime. We are freed to show up for each other and to be present in all the messiness and beauty, despair, and hope. This is life on this planet. We show up without our lamps. We don't need anything more than just us. We show up just as we are. We live in anticipation of that day when our burdens ease and we are able to find that deep spiritual peace. And as the last part of the song goes, "Lo, the morning soon is breaking." Yes, waiting is our life. We are called to bear witness to the love for which we yearn. Like the 5 foolish bridesmaids, we must not disengage or bury ourselves in commerce. We must keep awake and engage what is before us. Just show up as we are for each other. After all, this season is about showing up. It's about feeding the hungry, welcoming the other, clothing the naked, visiting the imprisoned, and caring for the sick. The good news is that we serve a humanity which is beautiful and flourishing and worthy of our every effort, of our love and our compassion. The good news is that we're not alone in our waiting, that the Spirit meets us in the darkness, that the divine meets us in every step, and that we can meet each other every step as well. So as we live in this season of waiting, as we wait for so many things, I invite you to dig in, keep awake, become embodied, seek support, connect to your church, send letters, tell someone that you aren't getting enough interaction, push engagement, because we need you and the world needs you. The world needs your art and your perspective, your love and your power, your light. You don't have to wait alone. Together, we can awaken. Together, we can awake to the power of humanity to the divine within and among us, and in doing so, weave the interconnected web a little tighter. In doing so, lift up that inherent worth and dignity of every person, being the change we wish to see in the world, living our Unitarian Universalist traditions as we wait. Blessed be, and amen.
The work of the church depends on us. In the context of global and national strife, SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection and healing. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of our church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values.
Bum 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 bum. This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My voice a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love? They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow, or so I have been told. They were buried far, just like a distant star. I simply cannot hold. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This is my winter song. December never felt so wrong, 'cause you're not where you belong. Inside my arms. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I still believe in summer days. The seasons always change, and life will find a way. I'll be your harvester of light and send it out tonight that we can start again. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This
Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join us in the closing hymn, number 235, Deck the Halls.
Deck halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new year, lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
This week, take a risk in vulnerability, either in yourself or in a relationship, so that we may get through this waiting together. Go in peace.